Section 9.2, we're looking at special right triangles. So we have two different types of triangles that we're looking at here, 45, 45, 90 triangles and 30, 60, 90 triangles. So we'll start with the 45, 45, 90. Basically, we have rules here on how I get around. We have those written right over here. So for the 45, 45, 90, if you're given a leg, the other leg is the same length, because it's an isosceles triangle. To get to the hypotenuse, you multiply the leg by root 2. If you're given the hypotenuse, you divide by root 2 to get both legs. All right, and we need to make sure we rationalize the denominator there. So when I go over this, one of the things that I use as a help is I use the triangle here. I have A, B, and C here. What I do is I say these are my legs. So I'm going to call those both A, and then I'm going to call this A root 2. And now I just go around there to get my parts. Okay. So on our first thing here, I have a side length of 5. I have my angles are 45, 45, 90. I have X and Y. X is a leg, so that's just 5. Y is the hypotenuse, that's 5 root 2. That's as easy as our problems can get. And the next one we make it a little bit more difficult. We say I have a side of 5 root 2. Okay, so my leg is still the same. M is 5 root 2. To get to N, I'm multiplying 5 root 2 times root 2. The root 2 times root 2 is 2. So then this is 10. Okay. And the third one is as difficult as we'll see on here. I'm going from 6, the hypotenuse, to a side length. So I need to divide by root 2. So this is where I would need to rationalize the denominator. We multiply the top and bottom both by root 2. I get 6 root 2 over 2. 2 goes into 6 3 times. So Z is 3 root 2. Right? And I knew I divided by root 2 over here because I'm going from here to here. To get rid of that root 2, we divide. Our other type of triangle is the 30, 60, 90 triangle. Okay, this is a little bit more difficult because we have 3 different side lengths. So the rules give us starting from each spot. All right. So if you're given the short leg, which is always opposite the 30, to find the hypotenuse, we multiply the short leg by 2. To find the longer leg, you multiply the short leg by root 3. Okay. Now we have if I'm given the hypotenuse and if I'm given the longer leg. And these spelled out here will work. Basically what I say on these is find the short leg and then do what you would do up here. Right? So find the short leg, divide by 2, then I'm back up here. To find the short leg, I divide by root 3, then I'm back up here. And again, I use the picture to help me. Right? We have E, D, and F here. D is our short leg. This is my 30. This is my 60. D is my short leg. I base everything off of that. So if I make this triangle 30, 60, 90, this is my D. To get the hypotenuse, I multiply by 2, so I have 2D. And to get the long leg, I multiply by root 3, so I have D root 3. So in our first picture here, we have the short leg is 3. To get the hypotenuse, or to get, let's say X, we'll do X first. To get that, I multiply by root 3, so I have 3 root 3. To get my hypotenuse, I multiply by 2, that is 6. When we come to our second example here, they give me the hypotenuse. So to get from the hypotenuse to the short leg, I divide by 2. That means my short leg is 4. To get from the hypotenuse to the long leg, I multiply by root 3. So I have 4 root 3. Then the next one we have the long leg. Right, now this one is fairly easy. It looks difficult because it has the 5 root 3 there, but that actually makes it a little bit easier. When I'm getting rid of that, when I'm going to A, I do 5 root 3 divided by root 3, so those cancel out. So my short leg is just 5. And then to get from, so I divide it by root 3 to get from here to here, to get rid of that root 3. Now I double it, and b is 10. The last problem we have here is where things get more difficult. They give me the hypotenuse, or the long leg is 7. Okay, my short leg over here is c. So to get there, I divide by root 3. So I have 7, so c is 7 divided by root 3. However, we need to rationalize the denominator. So I multiply by root 3 over root 3, and I get 7 root 3 over 3. That is c. Okay, that looks messy, but that is simplest radical form, and that is a perfectly acceptable answer. All right? And now people always get freaked out when I'm multiplying this by 2 to get to m. Right? I divide it by the root 3 to get here. Now I'm multiplying by the 2. But when you're doing this, it's the same as if I'm multiplying a fraction by 2. I just multiply the top by 2. So 7 root 3 over 3 times 2, 7 times 2 is 14. So m is just 14 root 3 over 3. Okay? That's about as messy as these problems can get. All right? So the key thing is how you work yourself around the triangle. So again, if I'm looking at the 30, 60, 90, right? I start at my short leg, times root 3 to get to my long leg, times 2 to get to my hypotenuse. And if I'm going the opposite direction, I'm just dividing. So I'm dividing here, I'm dividing there. When I'm looking at the 45, 45, 90, my two legs are the same. If I have one of those, I multiply by root 2 to get my hypotenuse. I divide by root 2 to get either of or both of my legs. So 2 examples of our problems here. Example 4, they asked me to find the height of the equilateral triangle. Right? So if this is equilateral, these are 60. So these up here have to be 30. So I have the 12 and the 6. Right? I doubled to get here. So this is my short leg. So h then is 6 root 3. Just multiplying by root 3 to get that. Right? Similarly here, they give me 24 inches as my hypotenuse. My short leg is x. My long leg is y because it's opposite the 60. They say the car is turned off while the windshield wipers are moving. The 24-inch wiper makes a 60-degree angle with the bottom of the windshield. How far from the bottom of the windshield are the ends of the wiper? So I'm looking at how high that is. Okay? So to get from my hypotenuse to my short leg, I divide by 2. So x is 12. And then I multiply that by root 3. So y, which is what I want, is 12 root 3. Oops, a little hard to see there. Okay. And that is how we go around our 45, 45, 90 triangles and our 30, 60, 90 triangles.